Hi there, everyone. Here is Selpide/Nuria speaking from the stairs, the landing between two stairs, and the second floor of Gonzaga Hall, which is an international dormitory for students of Sogang University in Seoul, South Korea. And yeah, we're recording in this extremely random place because we couldn't find a single location that wasn't full of people in our dormitory. There's a cafeteria and it's full of people speaking and laughing and having like a good international life and stuff like that. So yeah, we're here. And today, as I told you in the first episode, we're gonna try to define home in a different way. Like it's our first attempt at actually defining home. And our episode today is called Home is Far, because we're gonna try and talk about homesickness itself, about how it feels to be far from the place you consider your home. And I am using we all the time because I am not alone here. Hello, Alex.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, but I'm from Mexico, so usually names there are too long. My full name is Manuel Alejandro Gutierrez Leon, but you can just call me Alex. And yeah, as I said, I'm from Mexico, and Mexico is way too far from here. I think the only place that it's farther than Mexico is Brazil, and yeah, we have 14 hours of difference and 14 hours ahead of Mexico. And I'm from the southern part of Mexico, a state called Oaxaca, and the city also called Oaxaca. But when I finished high school, I moved to other city near to Mexico City called Puebla. So I live there now. And why I am here? Well, at first, when I thought about my exchange semester, I was wondering if I wanted to go to Germany because lots of people from my major, that it's mechatronic engineering, go to Germany because we have lots of links with Volkswagen, Audi, and those car brands. So going to Germany is kind of trendy. Also, we have United States and Latin America, but the only Asian country is Korea. So when I read Korea, I just said, why not?
And here you are.
And here I am, yeah. But too many things have happened since then.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna make like a small acceleration now. You may hear sounds that aren't us, like footsteps right now, because as I told you, we're in the middle of a freaking stir.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Like, don't worry about us. We're fine. And yeah, now you know Alex a bit. You'll get to know him more now, because we're gonna talk about some very deep stuff regarding how it feels to move away from home, like the different steps that you take when you have to leave your home. Every time you move, there's like a transitional space, a transitional time in between the day you have to say goodbye and the day you kind of assume you're going to go far away. And that transitional space or time or whatever, it feels so good. Like everything you do feels better than it would usually feel. Like for example, my mom, when like I really enjoy my mom's cooking. It doesn't matter when I eat it, but the last few weeks before coming here, every single thing, like even the most mundane and boring foods, they tasted so good. And like when you have like every family or every group of people have issues, and when you can feel like conflict is going to happen. And in these last few moments last few days or weeks, everything feels more calm. Like everyone is trying to avoid these conflicts. I don't know if that happened to you too.
Oh yeah, for sure. My grandmother cooks so well. I love every dish from her. So I always have and I will always will. But at the end, everything was so good. Even water, For example, in my hometown, I am used to drink the brand of water from my hometown. It has a name, but it doesn't matter. So the thing here is that the water has like a flavor that reminds me of home. And when I moved to Puebla and I started to drink other brand of water, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But the place, the thing, the people that I miss the most is in Puebla right now. So
yeah,
it
you
has changed a
don't
lot.
really care about the water anymore.
No, not anymore.
Even if it does taste like home or whatever.
Yeah, of course. And also other thing that you are used to get from your parents or your grandparents is hugs. So
Yeah.
one hug from them right now would be really cool, and from any people that you love.
Yeah, and also like even hugs and stuff, they feel like during those last few weeks or days or anything. Like I was constantly, I'm not a very affective person like physically, but during those, like every single night I would hug my mom the last few weeks before coming here. And like I really felt like doing it. It wasn't like on impulse, but I thought, okay, right now I really want to hug her. And I just hugged her and it made me feel very emotional. And I don't know if it's just because it was the last few days or because, you know, the idea of being away makes us realize things that we don't know that we feel.
Yeah, of course. When you lose things and you have always had them, you realize that you love them.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it feels like if home itself was an actual entity and it knows that it's going to be far away, so it becomes stronger in the last few days and like it tries to trap you and to make you feel like you want to stay. Like it makes you look at everything with better eyes, as if it knew that you're trying to get away from it, and now you miss it more because of that. Yeah, but anyway, that's not the hardest part of it, because it actually is good. Like, you know, it's the good thing. One of the good things about going away is how good it feels to be there on the last few days.
Your roots, for example, your identity, you as a Spanish and me as Mexican, becomes stronger when you are far away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has good things, or as you said, but also very bad things. I mean, everyone, when people talk about exchange experiences, as we're living one right now, they always talk about friends and cultures and party and stuff, but they never talk about how weird it is to go to a place that is so different that you end up, like, everything around you is so different, you end up like shielding yourself inside your own head. So there's a lot of things that because of that get very complicated. So what I'm trying to put into words is, what has been so far like the most complicated thing for you?
The most complicated thing for me was to say goodbye to my loved ones. But as you were saying, there is some curious thing about exchanges, because I know many people that they have been in exchanges in United States, in Canada, United Kingdom, Europe, and also many friends of mine, and when they think about exchanges, when I told them that I was going on exchange semester to Korea, they just told me, oh, like, you need to party every day, just like take 2 courses or 1 course and enjoy your life there. So you travel, you meet people and those things that go with that. But I chose like a different kind of exchange. I am also meeting people and enjoying my time here, also going to parties.
Yeah, we know that.
But it's different because I took 5 courses.
Yeah.
So I am really spending time on the university, and they are not like the easiest thing in the world. So I am studying almost every day, but I'm really loving it. It's so different, the experience that I'm having here, from the one that my friends thought that I was going to have.
Yeah, and also, same happened to me. Like, most of my friends told me to enjoy every aspect about life here. Like, not only partying, because I'm not very much of a party person, but, you know, like, travel a lot, discover a lot of places. Like, you cannot lose any second of it. What they didn't tell me is that you discover so much about yourself Like we've only been here for like 3 weeks almost.
Yeah.
And in this time, like everything I thought I knew about what I want to do with my life and the things that are important to me and everything, I feel like that was a lie before. Like I didn't actually know who I was and what I wanted. And in just 3 weeks, like it was like non-stop thinking about who I am and what I want to do with my life and everything. And like I thought maybe it was because I'm a very intense person or something. Okay. But then I spoke with people that have also gone to exchange programs, and they told me that they had all gone through that too. Just like once you finish, you only remember the good parts. And like discovering things about yourself is also a very good thing, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's so hard. It happened to me too. When I decided to come here, I just said that. I said, why not? And I was thinking of just doing that, just taking 2 courses and having a good time, meeting a lot of people, parties and those kind of things. But now, it's so different because my life changed.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that the most difficult part for me in this was actually to say goodbye. Not only being far, but saying goodbye. So the last summer, I was in Canada for 2 months because my father wanted to send me there. It was really cool. I learned a lot of things.
Thanks, Alex, Dad.
But the feeling back then was different. The most difficult part was not saying goodbye to my parents or my grandparents, my friends, because it wasn't. And it was just 1 summer, so it was nothing.
Yeah.
But the most difficult part was being there, because when I arrived, I was expecting to meet a lot of people. Those things I was with high expectations.
Yeah.
And I got so disappointed because at the beginning, my class, when I did like the placement test, I got C1, and most of young people they get B2. So in my class there were only adults, and I couldn't make any friends in the first like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh.
So it was kind of difficult and sad for me.
Yeah.
And the thing there is that I missed the most all of my life here. Well, my life in Mexico, not here, obviously. My life in Mexico. But being there was difficult. But now, the hardest part of this was saying goodbye because my life changed. And now I have a girl in my life.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about her.
So her name is Michelle. She has a longer name, but we can call her Mitch. I met her in January. I am studying, as I said, mechatronic engineering. She's studying nutrition. In my university, as is Catholic and Jesuit, like Sogan, we have to share 1 class with all the other majors. The Spanish name is Área de Reflexión Universitaria.
Wow.
But in English, it's like 1 class where you meet people from other majors and you do reflections, you think about your life and kind of religious things. So I met her there. And I liked her the moment I saw her. And time just went on. Later, we did together an activity in the class that we got to know each other very well by having conversations together and talking about deep things like this, but in class, about our lives. And we shared too much there. And at the end of that activity, it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we had to give to the other one a gift, but a gift with meaning. So we had to make the other one realize one thing about himself or herself that he or she hadn't realized yet. Okay. So it was really difficult, but it was beautiful. So I did that with her, and since that point we became closer and closer. So it was really like out of nothing, and it was really cool because we were not looking for a relationship in that moment between us. But yeah, we started to talk in every social media. It was really cool talking about different topics in Facebook and WhatsApp and those things. Then the semester ended. We have, in our school, we have 1 week of vacations between the semester and summer classes. So I took summer classes and she did too. And in that week, we keep talking on the phone, and we had a visit from one of our best friends, my roommates and I. Her name is Eloisa, and I have been her friend from elementary school. So she was visiting us in Puebla, and I was talking to her when Mitch, my girl, arrived that day. So I introduced one of my best friends to her that day, and this is special right now.
But that is very meaningful. Like when people from different parts of your life that are very important collide together, it feels like two different worlds. Like when in Marvel movies, actually.
Yeah, crossovers.
Yeah, crossover. It feels like a crossover.
Yeah, of course, it is. It feels like that for sure. And then, well, that was our first date, and then we started to have meals together in the school, breakfast, dinner. One of our cutest dates was to watch Spider-Man: Far From Home together.
Oh.
So the last movie of Phase 3 of Marvel. It was really special. So we watched it together. So the day after that one of the movie was my farewell party. And I invited all of my friends that were in Puebla. And also I had a visit from one of my best friends, so from my best friend in Oaxaca called Efren. So Efren, saludos. In the party, and I wasn't expecting that. It was so beautiful. And also I invited her, of course, in that party. At the end, when her dad came to pick her up, I kissed her for the first time. And then our story started. So
it started not that far away from now.
No, just 2 months from now.
Wow. Like
No. Well, our story.
Your story is long, yeah. But like you were officially, you started having an official thing from then.
That was on 16th of June.
Okay.
Our officially starting date.
Yeah.
But that thing, my farewell party was like a week before. Like a week and a half before.
Okay.
I decided to spend more days in Puebla instead of going back to my hometown to see my family, my relatives. I decided to spend more time there. I spent a week. Then I had to go back to Oaxaca to see my relatives. But I really wanted to go back more time before coming here. So I talked to my parents, and my mom just said, yeah, you do it. And because she knows almost everything about me. And I really love her. Mama, te amo. And my father, at the beginning, was kind of hesitating.
Yeah.
But at the end, he just said yeah, you do it. So I spent 2 more weeks in Puebla. So 20 days in total with her before coming here. And
your home changed.
Yeah, my home changed completely in the last semester.
That's so interesting.
Also because before this semester, my best friend and I, Kike and me, we were living in other house and we were living there for 3 semesters.
Okay.
With other roommate. But that roommate went to Monterrey, so Jose Roberto, saludos. Yeah, he went to live in Monterrey because his major is complete there. And we had no furniture in that house, nothing at all. Just like the last semester there, we had 2 sofas, 2 couches, and 1 TV. That was all. But the house was too big for just 3 people, and we had nothing.
Yeah, sometimes that's
sad.
Yeah, because until now we've been focusing on home for you right now is Mitch, right? Your girl, I mean.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting because we're talking about home as people, but also in that case, it's a very good example on how home as a place is also something very important, because a house that is empty makes you feel empty too.
Yeah, of course, it depressed me. But then the thing is that we are now living in a nice apartment. My other now is my best friend too, Jerry, saludos, and Kike and me. We are 3 in one apartment. We have furnitures and everything. It's so cool. And my life's changed a lot in this last semester.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm trying to make here is that saying goodbye this time to Mitch, not my parents, because I know my parents have always been there and they will always be there for me, but Mitch has been here for me for just 2 months.
Yeah.
So I wanted to spend more time before coming here with her.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. And I arranged this exchange semester before
You even knew you were.
we were going to be something.
Yeah, of course.
We gave each other letters,
Yeah.
and she just opened 2 of mine, and I just opened 1 of hers.
Like letters? What kind of letters? If I can ask.
Yeah, of course. She wrote me letters for feelings. If I feel like I'm missing her, just open this letter. If I feel like I need to laugh in the day,
Yeah.
I open other one, and those kind of letters. They were 7. Now I have 5. And I gave her the same thing, and also 1 present for each month, each 16th of the month.
Yeah, because that's like your anniversary, right?
Yeah, so saying goodbye to her was the hardest thing. And when I arrived to the airport the day that I was going, I cried so hard at the entrance when you have this checkpoint of metals. And
that's like the
steel
saddest part of the airport, because like your family or your friends or your girl, they cannot go with you.
Yeah. And she was also in Puebla, so she didn't go to Mexico City to leave me in the airport because she couldn't.
Okay.
So I was just with my parents, and I left my parents before the checkpoint. And when I was in the checkpoint, there are these walls, so you can't see people from the other part of the airport.
Yeah.
Just people that is going to have a flight.
Yeah.
So I was crying among all of them. I was the only one, and it was special that moment too. But then, when you reach the part after that checkpoint, you realize that now I need to punch out of this one by myself.
Yeah, you need to keep going.
So you just get ready and look for the gate for
the boarding gate. Yeah.
The boarding gate, and you have to
get yourself together.
Yeah, you have to be you have to pay attention and be so careful. Ask.
Yeah, you have to change from emotional mode to efficient mode.
Exactly. In this case, saying goodbye was so difficult for me,
Yeah.
and being here is easier because I know I have her and I love her, and we love each other. It's so cool what we have. But also it's difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
So in kind of different kind of homesicks, right?
Yeah.
So the first one that I had when I went to live alone, the first time was missing every day.
Yeah.
And I do miss her every day too here.
Hmm.
But the hardest part was to say goodbye. I cried so much. But sometimes here, for example, yesterday was 16th of September.
Oh, yeah, that day is very important, not only because it's their anniversary, but for people who don't know this, it's the anniversary of Mexico's independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Spain.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still sorry about that.
The thing here is that yesterday I was invited by the embassy to the Mexican party.
Yeah.
The anniversary Mexican party. And I went with all of my Mexican friends here. And we drank tequila and Corona and those things. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was like a little home.
So
like
I
home.
got to know more and many people from Mexico. And watching and seeing all of these Mexicans remind me too much of her.
Yeah.
So at the end I was kind of sad. So on my way back home, I just stopped for a few minutes, I thought. And I just sat on the sidewalk and looked at the moon, and I started crying too much. But it's okay because sometimes you need that.
Yeah. Sometimes you do need to let it out. And actually, I feel more related to that. For me, goodbye, saying goodbye was hard in the moment, but as you said, you have to get yourself together so fast. I didn't even cry again in the airplane. And I'm a person that cries a lot. You cannot imagine how much I cry. But I was managing so well, I thought maybe this was going to be super easy for me. But actually I think what's been the hardest for me is the beginning itself. Beginnings are really, really hard. Because you feel the first few days or weeks or even months, I hope it's not months.
Yeah, months.
But you feel alone, even though you're actually surrounded. We live in a dormitory, our rooms are of 2 people. You are never alone. You literally cannot sleep on your own. And I'm lucky because I love my roommate and we get along super well. But you still feel alone. because as I said before, everything outside from you is so different from you were used to that you kind of have to trap yourself inside your own mind to survive. And there's this feeling of, like, in the back of your mind, even if you're doing other things, I mean, at least for me, of like a never-ending restlessness, okay?
Yep.
As if this constant back feeling that something is very, very wrong or out of place. I don't know if it's like a self-defense of the body, you know, like instinct, because you feel like everything around you is so different, and then so your body says like, okay, let's go back to normal. You need to go back to normal. You need to go back to what we know. I don't know what it is, but it's weird because that's what's being more complicated for me. I mean, when I was a kid, this used to happen to me a lot. I actually mentioned that, I think, on the other episode. But the second I got far from my parents, which was what I considered my home back then, I became super anxious. I've always had anxiety problems, but they were the worst in that moment because I started crying because I thought they would never come back to me. Like, they dropped me at school, for example, and when they came to pick me up, if they were like 5 minutes late, I started crying because I thought they would be dead. Yeah, it was super weird. And the thing is, that feeling without that thought repeated itself over the years, like when I went to summer camps and stuff like that. But as I grew older, it faded and I was okay. And here, it happens, like, not only with my parents, because I am used to living far from them because I live in Madrid, and they live in Jerez, which is a southern city in Spain. But like also with my friends, and like with, I don't know exactly what I miss, but there is something that makes me feel very sad and like I'm losing something important. And yeah, I think it's just because it's the beginning and I'm not used to being here. But that's what's been hard for me, like the longing and the nostalgia. I'm feeling them stronger than before, even with things that I already didn't have back home. Like what I said about my parents, I literally see them twice a year. Yeah. I only go back home for Christmas and in summer, and that's okay, like, because I feel them close. I can talk to them through phone and everything. But here, I feel like I miss them a lot, and actually it's the same amount of time that I'm not going to see them. Yeah. Like if I had gone to Madrid another term instead of here, I still wouldn't have seen them until Christmas.
But they are too far.
Yeah, like, yeah, maybe it's the fact that you cannot physically go there, like the impossibility
of going there if you want.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but it's kind of weird, and because like, yeah, you have like everything feels magnified here.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know, but yeah, that's like a good way to go and talk about something that you mentioned before, and we can talk briefly about it. And it's that homesickness does not feel the same in one place or another.
Yeah, of course.
You don't miss your home the same way. Like I don't miss my home. I still don't know what my home is, but still, that feeling of like something is missing is not the same when I'm in Madrid as when I am here.
Yeah, it's the same to me because when I'm in Puebla right now, in this moment of my life, even more now because I have Mitch.
Yeah.
So my home now is in Puebla. So when I'm there, I do not miss Oaxaca at all. I know my grandparents and all of my family is there. But I'm so complete in Puebla right now that I know that my parents and my family will always be there when I need them. And that's such a great feeling. And having someone in other part that makes me stay there.
Oh.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And I have always wanted that, but I was trying so hard to get it, but I couldn't. And now I realize why, because I wasn't prepared for that kind of relationship. Yeah. And now I do. I am prepared for that.
Yeah, and it's really meaningful because you started your relationship knowing that you were both going to be far away from each other for a long time. And like, yeah, I think that explains, like, that proves that you are prepared, because the feeling you have is so strong. It was stronger than the distance, and you decided to try anyway, you know?
Yeah.
And it is very curious because like I had moved once before moving from Jerez to Madrid, because I actually was born in Algeciras, which is a different city, a small town. And when I moved that one time, I did miss Algeciras as if it was my home. I felt like everyone was going on with their lives, like my friends and everyone I had left behind, and that I wasn't no longer part of that. Like I felt that I was stripped out of that page, and like the story would go on, but I was no longer a character. I could just observe from outside, and that felt so weird. And I thought that didn't happen to me when I moved from Jerez to Madrid because I had grown up, but it is kind of happening to me now. It's different because I am not moving here. I'm just going to stay for 4 months, but still it's so weird. And actually, speaking of different kinds of homesickness, I think we have a word in Spanish for a super, super, super particular kind of homesickness. Mamitis?
Yeah.
You know that word?
Yeah, of course.
Because also we're both only childs.
The only child in the family.
Yeah, well, you can explain what mamitis is.
Okay, so mamitis is Spanish speaker's word.
Yeah.
That means that you are too attached to your mom.
Yeah.
And I will like do a resume.
Okay.
When I was a kid, and since elementary school, secondary school, and high school, so my mom overprotected me all the time, and it was so hard for me to get the permission to go to parties because she was just crazy about these things.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed at me at that time, since primary school, secondary school, and high school. But just the last year of high school, she like lowered the level a little bit, so I had too much fun on the last year. But yeah, and no one thought that I could be too far from my mom to study. For example, I don't live in my hometown; she lives there, and none of my friends or her friends too thought that I could be studying somewhere else where she is not.
Yeah. But you did.
But I do, and now I do more because I'm so far right now.
Yeah, you went the farthest you could.
Now, looking back in time, I just have like the good memories with my mom, and the fact that she overprotected me all the time allowed us to have too many memories of everything, and now we have a strongest bond there is. I think so because I tell her almost everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so beautiful, and now that I'm too far, I know I always count on her. And yeah, so mamitis, I still have it, of course, because I can't be without. Well, I can. I am without my mom.
We can do that, but
we are doing it. But
aches.
I mean, now the bond that we have is so different. So it's not mamitis anymore. It's something else.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really feel that because the same happened to me. Like, I don't think she overprotected me that much, but she was always, and she still is. Like what you said, I tell her everything. Like we speak every day, and she knows probably like almost as much as my friends do know about me, and more stuff than some of them. Yeah. And it is weird because like. The same happened to me. Like, I mean, people did think that I could go far from her, but because of the mix of that, like, overprotection when we're young, and like what you said, that gets you maybe to spend more time with your mom, and like to, I think that sometimes only children have a relationship with our moms that is more like close to friendship. I mean, they are our mothers, so it's different, and we respect them, and it's not as if they were one of our like colegas or something like that, but it is something closer, and I think, not only childs, but in general, mamitis, is something very real, because like in teenage years, sometimes people get distance from their parents, because things are complicated and humans are stupid, and like everyone thinks that they're not cool if they spend that much time with their parents or whatever. But then when you grow up a little bit and you go to university, you get closer to them again, to your parents in general, and as we're speaking now, to our mothers. And it's weird because normally when you go to university, that means you're going out of your house. So it is like kind of tragic that when mamitis gets better, I mean, when you can like manage that, you have to get away from your mom. And like, yeah, I get really emotional when I talk about my mom because I really miss her for some.
Of course, I miss her too.
Hola, mama.
Yeah, I do it too. But the time we spent together and the fact that she protected me too much when we spent tons of time together allowed me to be able to be without her completely, because I text to my parents every day. But talking, speaking of talking, even in Puebla, we just talk like once a week or twice or once every 2 weeks. But I am able to be without them because I grew up with them.
Yeah, you know
not
that
being far from them.
You can have them, like they will always be there for you, as you said before.
So it's kind of special that now.
Yeah, and one thing that is kind of related to this, and I think that could be a good way to finish this episode already, in case people are still listening to us and don't hate us for being like too annoying, is that either it being mamitis or like the feeling you have of homesickness when you move for a long time or for a place that's far away or whatever, those things can be different, but the way you deal with homesickness actually doesn't change that much from one setting to another. And I think there's like two ways, like two major categories of like ways of dealing with homesickness. Yeah. And the main one would be like being so busy all the time that you cannot feel bad. I don't know. I think you can, like, you do that too. We talk about that, right?
Yeah, of course. I am playing tennis almost every day, so I can get off the stress.
Yeah.
And I of course I always think of her, and I always miss her. But playing tennis, attending to my classes, studying for them because I have to study. Yeah. I don't know anything that they are teaching me here. Oh. Almost anything. So I just keep myself busy.
Yeah.
But there are also times that the only thing that you need to do is cry.
Yeah, I think that's the
thing that I said before.
The second category is yeah, exactly. Like you need to, like if you keep yourself busy too much time, you just push away. Like you're just like, how do you say this in English? Retarding something. Like you're just pushing the moment away, but it will come eventually.
You are avoiding it.
Yeah, exactly. Like your body needs to feel some things, like in order to comprehend them, to understand them.
Of course.
And if you just keep pushing them away all the time, you're not gonna be able to be okay. Because that feeling, what I said before, that feeling of restlessness, of like something is wrong, you need to let it all out. Maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to yell. Maybe you just need to like listen to some music.
Yeah, of course, music is so important.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you feel the same, but since I arrived here, I feel like I don't have enough time to watch a show or to listen to music or to stuff like that because I subconsciously try to keep myself busy all the time, just because of what we were speaking. But what you said is very important, like about what you said before.
Yeah, crying
yesterday on the street.
Yeah, and also the other thing is speaking that you told me before that studying university means to move out of your parents' house in our countries. But here, for example, for Koreans, it's so easy because they just moved out of their houses when they get married. Oh. So all of Koreans here live with their parents, or here maybe the ones that live here in our building,
dormitory,
our dormitory, because they live too far maybe. But it's not that common. People here, they can buy and get things too easy.
Too easy.
For example, any store here has a button to open the door, and when you get in, there is air conditioner anywhere.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And also, I don't know, the street lights. Everyone respects that.
Yeah.
And in Mexico, we don't respect the street lights. So even if there is red light for the cars, you need to.
Yeah, you look at the street.
In both ways, in both directions.
Yeah, I think that's another big thing about moving. like the culture you're new to. Like for some people it seems like way worse than theirs, and for some people it feels like way better. But I think it's like another mechanism of like coping, of self-defense, like because you like try to make a separation in your mind, like from you and them, like to feel like your identity isn't that erased or lost in the way. But I feel like as time passes, because we're still getting used to this, we're only been here for like almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we will like mix more, like we will feel like those differences are not that big. I don't know, but yeah, that's that's also another thing that I wanted to say, and that I feel like maybe a good ending to all of this, and it's that in order to actually feel better, I think we have to get used to being here. The mundane things, like also being busy always helps you, but I think that's just temporary. You need to have like a timetable and a schedule every day, and that's what helps you deal with the fact that home is far, because like you artificially build something that looks like what you would do back home. Like you wake up every day at this time and you go to classes, and then in the afternoons you do this or that, and you have like the place you always go to with your friends, and those little things you have back home, you create them here. And I feel like when we get to that point, when we discover that restaurant that we love, or that cafe, or that, I don't know, that theater that you always go to watch Marvel movies to, here, I feel like that will be the moment when homesickness will still be there, because it will always be there, but it will be something that you can bear with.
Yeah, but the thing here is that I don't want to get used to it, because the thing here is that I miss Mitch every day, and all the time, and I want it to stay that way, and I'm sure it will be staying that way, because if I don't know, I go to any place, any theater, cafe, club, park, everywhere, I think of her.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get that used to it, but I mean I enjoy the moment, but I don't want to get used to it so that it looks like a routine.
Yeah.
I don't want to, and I won't.
Yeah. I think that's another good way of seeing it. Yeah. So to summarize this episode, we could say that we didn't find anything, because home is far. That is true. Home can be far. Like you can have your home far from where you are, and you can still find ways to like recreate your home far. Like the letters from Mitch that you have, for example, they are like a way of bringing home to Seoul. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm super bad at like ending things.
No, I mean, I got you. So home is far, that's right, for you and me. But you can always have a piece of home with you. For example, I have this picture of us.
Oh, I will upload that.
Yeah, you can upload this, and I always look at it. And I have more in my desk. Yeah, but that's the thing. So the conclusion could be that despite that there is no conclusion, homesickness and being in exchange could be more, and you can feel more things that people are used to.
Yeah, that's actually that's the best ending ever. Yeah, the conclusion is that even if homesickness has bad things, like it is called homesickness for a reason, it also makes you feel so much stuff that maybe it is worth it in the end, because you value more what you took for granted, and you also learned like to deal with things like with distance, and we're not only distance but like things about yourself way better. So yeah, that is our conclusion, and I want everyone to give like a virtual applause to Alex, because he is super sick today. He's super sick, like he's very bad of his throat, and we actually think he has a fever. But he still is here talking with you guys all over the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, please do like clap for him. And yeah, that is all. Do you want to say hi to anyone?
I just said hi to everyone. Just one more.
Okay.
Hola Mitch, mi amor, te extraño.
Oh. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Once this is uploaded, you can all submit your creations for the virtual cine, however it is pronounced, issue number 2. And yeah, now I'm going to leave you with the beautiful ending instrumental song that Rachel Ray in every single social media composed for us. She's amazing. Please follow her, listen to all her music. Alex, do you want to spam with your social media too? Or you feel like
yeah,
people...
of course.
Yeah.
I think there is no one with my long name. So my Facebook is Manuel Alejandro Gutierrez Leon. You can write it on the description.
Okay,
It's too long.
Well, guys, thank you for listening, and good night and farewell.
Adios.
Adios.